I was sitting in my kitchen a few years ago, going through one of those really dark periods, where it feels like everything's falling apart and you're just questioning everything. I was thinking about all the stuff that had happened, all the ways I'd been hurt, all the damage I thought I'd picked up over the years, and I was sitting there feeling pretty beaten down, to be honest. But then, I don't know, I noticed something weird. I was remembering all these painful things, right? But the part of me that was doing the remembering, it felt fine, like completely fine, like it had just been watching everything happen from somewhere safe. So I started noticing this more. During tough moments, good moments, whatever, there was always this, I don't know what to call it, this awareness that was just there, not getting happy, not getting damaged, just aware. And that's when it kind of hit me. Maybe I'd been spending all this time trying to protect something that was never actually in danger. All the walls, all the being careful, all the fear about getting hurt again. Maybe I was guarding something that couldn't be touched in the first place. You probably have this too. Right now, listening to me, there's something in you that's taking in what I'm saying. Has that ever been damaged by anything it's been aware of? Has it ever gotten smaller or broken no matter what you've been through? I don't think it has. I don't think it can be. At least that's what I found. And I don't know, it changed things for me, how I think about what can actually hurt me and what can't. So here's what I started realizing. All those things I thought had broken me, they didn't actually break me. They broke my plans. They broke my expectations about how things were supposed to go. They broke my ideas about what my life should look like. But me, the actual me, completely untouched. Like I remember when my daughter was born, stillborn. I thought that experience destroyed something in me. And in a way, it did destroy something. It destroyed my assumption that good people get good outcomes. It destroyed my plan for what our family was going to be. It shattered my idea that if you love someone enough, you can protect them from everything. But you know what it didn't destroy? The part of me that was aware of all that pain, the part that was present for the grief, present for the love, present for the confusion. That awareness, it was like it held all of it without being damaged by any of it. I think about it like, when you're watching a movie and there's an explosion on screen? The building gets destroyed, people are running, everything's chaos. But the screen itself? The screen is fine. It shows the explosion, but it doesn't get hurt by it. That's what I found. My life experiences, the good ones, the devastating ones, all of them, they were like movies playing on this screen of awareness. And the screen just showed them. It didn't get smaller when sad movies played. It didn't get damaged when there were explosions. It just displayed whatever was happening. I'd been confusing the movie with the screen my whole life, thinking that when bad things happened in the movie, something was wrong with the screen. But the screen was always fine. It was always just there, showing whatever came up. Same with you. Whatever's happened in your life. The worst day you ever had, the most heartbreaking moment, something in you was aware of it all. And that something, I don't think it got damaged. I think it just witnessed it, held space for it. Let it be what it was without taking on any of the hurt itself. So what is this thing that can't be touched? I started calling it, I don't know, the foundation of who you are. Think about when you were 7 years old. Really think about it. Your body was completely different then, right? Smaller, different voice, different everything. Your thoughts were different. You were worried about completely different things. Your whole personality was probably different too. I know mine was. But here's the weird thing, the experience of being aware. That's exactly the same now as it was then. When you were 7 and you looked out your bedroom window, there was this sense of, I'm looking, I'm seeing. And right now, listening to me, there's that same sense of, I'm listening, I'm hearing. That hasn't changed at all. That's your foundation. That's what I'm talking about. I remember being maybe 8 years old, lying in bed at night, and having this strange thought like, I'm me. You know that feeling? Just this simple awareness of being aware. And I can access that exact same feeling right now, 40-something years later. It's identical, not similar, identical. Everything else about me has changed completely. My body, my thoughts, my experiences, my understanding of the world. But that basic sense of being conscious, of being aware, that's been a constant this whole time. And here's what blew my mind when I really got this. Every single experience I've had, every emotion, every thought, every sensation, every memory, all of that happened to the contents of my awareness. But awareness itself, it just held it all, never got smaller, never got damaged, never needed to recover from anything. This isn't some philosophical thing, this is practical, because once you recognize this foundation, this awareness that's been steady your whole life, you realize that's what you actually are. Not your thoughts, not your emotions, not your circumstances. You're the awareness that's been constant through all of it. And if that's what you are, how could anything ever really hurt you? How could anything break something that's been watching everything, but never participating in the damage? Now here's where it gets interesting. When you know this, not just think it, but really know it, everything changes about how you approach, well, everything. I used to move through the world like I was made of glass, careful with every step, trying not to get too close to anything that might shatter me. Difficult conversations, I'd avoid them or go in with all this armor up, ready to defend myself. Taking risks, forget it, too dangerous. But once I started operating from this foundation, it's like I realized I was made of something harder than diamond. And I don't mean that in some tough guy way. I mean, if you knew, really knew, that the core of who you are literally cannot be damaged, how would you move through the world? It's not reckless. That's important to understand. Reckless is when you ignore real danger. Like, I'm not gonna walk into traffic just because my awareness can't be hurt. My body can definitely be hurt. But fearless is different. Fearless is recognizing that the real you was never in danger to begin with. So now, when I have to have a difficult conversation with someone, maybe they're angry with me or disappointed or whatever, I don't go in trying to protect myself anymore. I don't need to. The part of me that could actually be damaged by their words doesn't exist. It's like, you know how when you're playing a video game and you discover your character has invincibility mode turned on? Suddenly you can explore areas you were too scared to go into before. You can take on challenges that seemed impossible. Not because you're being careless, but because you realize the thing you were protecting was never actually at risk. I started having conversations I'd been avoiding for years, started taking creative risks with projects, started saying yes to things that scared me. Not because I became braver, but because I realized what I thought I was protecting wasn't actually there to be protected. Instead of living in damage control mode, trying to minimize how much life could hurt me, I started living at full volume. Because what was the worst that could happen? My plans could get messed up, my expectations could get shattered, my feelings could get hurt. Sure, but me, the actual me, that foundation we talked about, that was never going anywhere. And so how do you actually access this? How do you live from this foundation instead of from, the surface level that thinks it can get broken? I started doing this thing. Whenever things got intense, and I mean any kind of intense, good or bad, I'd ask myself this question: what in me is watching this? Not thinking about it, not analyzing it, just what's watching. Like someone gives me harsh criticism about a performance. Instead of immediately getting defensive or hurt, I pause and ask, what in me is aware that I'm being criticized right now? And I find this observer, this awareness that's just taking it all in. And that observer, it's completely fine. It's not getting smaller or damaged or defensive. It's just watching. Same thing when I'm scared about something. Let's say I'm about to do a scene that feels way beyond my abilities. Instead of drowning in the fear, I check in. What in me knows that I'm scared? And there's this part that's aware of the fear but isn't afraid itself. It's like the fear is happening in me, but I'm the space where the fear is happening. I do this all the time now. When I fail at something, and trust me, I fail at stuff constantly, instead of beating myself up, I ask, what in me is aware that I just failed? And that awareness, it's not embarrassed. It's not disappointed in itself. It just witnessed the failure without taking on any of the shame. Even when I'm overwhelmed, too much happening at once, can't think straight, I drop into this question. What in me knows that I'm overwhelmed? And I find this stillness that's watching the chaos, but isn't chaotic itself. It's like, before I was trying to build my house on sand. Every storm would shake the foundation, and I'd have to rebuild. But this awareness, this observer, it's like bedrock. Nothing moves it. So now when storms come, I engage with them from there, from that solid place that was never at risk. The weird thing is, it's always fine. Always. I've never asked what in me is watching this, and found something damaged or stressed or worried. It's just there, steady, unaffected. And from that place, you can handle whatever's happening, not because you're stronger, but because you're operating from something that was never weak to begin with. Here's the weird thing about knowing you can't be broken. It doesn't make you hard. It makes you gentle, incredibly gentle. I know that sounds backwards, but think about it. When you believe you're fragile, what do? You build walls, you get defensive, you attack first sometimes just to protect yourself. You become hard because you think you have to be. But when you know, really know, that the core of who you are can't be damaged, you can afford to be soft. You can afford to be open. You can afford to be vulnerable. Because vulnerability isn't dangerous anymore. Not when you understand what you really are. I used to be so careful in relationships, always a little guarded, making sure I didn't get too exposed, too open, because what if they hurt me? What if they left? What if they saw something they didn't like? Now, they can see whatever they want to see. They can leave if they need to. They can even try to hurt me. And the part of me that could actually be damaged by any of that, it doesn't exist. So I can just be present, really present, not managing threats, not calculating risks, not trying to control outcomes. Just here, open, available. It changes everything. How you show up at work, with friends, with family. Instead of spending half your energy protecting yourself from imaginary dangers, you can put all your energy into actually living. You stop being defensive because there's nothing to defend. You stop being aggressive because there's nothing to attack. You just are. And from that place, you can actually connect with people, really connect. Because you're not busy protecting something that was never at risk anyway. So here's what I want you to do right now. Don't think about this, just notice. Right now, something in you is aware that you're listening to me. Something knows you're having thoughts about what I'm saying. What is that? What's doing the knowing? Look at that awareness. Look for any damage in it. Look for any sign that it's been hurt by anything you've ever experienced. Look for any weakness, any cracks, any wounds. You won't find any, because there aren't any. That's what you are. That's what you've always been. That knowing, that awareness, completely untouched by everything that's ever happened to you. You don't have to develop this. You don't have to earn it or achieve it or become worthy of it. It's not something you get after years of practice or therapy or spiritual work. It's what you are right now. Every story you've told yourself about being broken, every fear about getting hurt, every strategy you've used to protect yourself, all of that is just noise. Noise happening in something that was never in danger. You are invincible. Not because you've become strong, because you always were. The only question is, will you live from that truth?